Welcome to Carlton's Math Corner. Today we are going to continue our study on algebraic equations. To begin, please make sure that you have your math journal out as well as your vocabulary packet. Today we're going to be talking about writing a one variable equation for a given situation. And at this time, let's talk about, first of all, I need to move this over so you can see the whole target. There you go. I want to talk about some words that mean or give us clues to addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Because today, since we are writing, we're going to actually write math sentences. And so in order to do that, we need to be using a variable. But then within an equation, we need to also have an operation, which if we don't know words, that clue us in to different operations, then it would be really difficult for us to write an actual equation. So let's start off. Here are some words for addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And some of these you may recognize because you've learned them in the past, which is wonderful. But addition, sum, plus, total, in addition to, increase, profit. Profit is just money that's earned beyond what was spent, and then gain. Subtraction, difference, minus, decrease, loss, subtracted from. Multiplication, product, times, the word by, or the word of. Those are clues to multiplication. And then lastly, division, quotient, divided by, divided into. Anytime you see groups, the word groups or teams or equally separated, I should probably add that one in there. Those are some, clues that tell you that we are going to be using division in our equation. And so I'm going to put that one on there as well. Now, we also need to talk about some words that will clue us in to where to put the equal sign. Like if you see words like is or total or the same as, those words usually means an equal sign. Like we need an equal sign at that point. Because remember, all equations need an equal sign. And so we need to decide where does that equal sign go. And I know total can be for an equals, but it can also mean addition, meaning you're trying to find the sum of all the numbers together. And so you have to read the problem carefully to see, which one are they asking of us. And it depends on the situation. Now, you may pause the video to copy down all these words, because I think they really will help you in solving, or not solving, but in writing these one variable equations. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at different situations. So they're going to be in word problem form. And we're going to determine what is missing. We're going to determine what is the relationship between the numbers, because we need to figure out, based on the situation, what's going on with them. Are they being added? Are they being subtracted, multiplying, divided, etc.? And then how can you write an equation for that situation? And I'm going to actually take this out, and I'm going to say that we are going to use a variable within the equation. Okay, so let's start off with our first situation. Those of you that are basketball fans, I'm sure you've heard of LeBron James. And let me pull this up. It's very slow. There we go. Okay, so during one of his games during his rookie years, LeBron James scored 41 of the Cleveland Cavaliers' 107 points. And it says, how many points did the rest of the team score? Well, in order to figure this out, first of all, we need to determine what is missing. Well, the team, whatever the team actual scored. So here, those are LeBron James points. We're going to actually write that down. So we have 41, and we'll put LB, that's LeBron James points. And then the whole team, like this is the entire team, Cleveland Cavaliers. That's the entire team. They scored 107 points. And so we're going to write that down too. And that's the total points of the team. And so I know it doesn't say that they're total points, but it says that LeBron James scored 41 of these entire points. And so it's a clue that I'm going to put an equal sign saying that those are the total points of the whole team. And now I got to figure out, I have numbers, within my equation. I have an equal sign, but I'm trying to figure out what else do I put in the middle here. And so I need to think, if I'm missing the team's points, okay, so I'm going to put team, and I forgot to put, these are the total points, okay? And so I'm trying to figure out if LeBron James scored 41 points of this total, and I need to figure out the team's points, how are those numbers related? Like, how are LeBron James points related to the team's points? And how are both of them related to the total points? Well, for those of you that said, well, his points plus the team's points, together they equal 107 points. Okay, so LeBron James points plus the team's is 107 points. So now I know that I'm trying to figure out, to make this equation balanced, first of all, I need a variable. Well, we know that team's points is missing, so I'm going to choose a variable that kind of starts with the same letter as team. I'm going to put T for team. And so now I have an equation. I have 41 points plus the team's points is the same as 107 points. And so I have the left side of my equation, which has a variable and a number and an operation. And then the right side has just a number. Both sides of the equation have to have a number, okay? And then one side has to have a variable, and it has to have an operation. It doesn't matter which side it is. I could actually take this and, I can actually switch. I can put LeBron James's points on this side plus the team, and then put the total over here. And that would still be the exact same thing. Because remember I said the right side is the same as the left side, so I can actually swap them and they still represent the same equation. So this equation is the same as 41 plus T equal to 107. It is exactly the same, because if you notice, one side has LeBron James's points plus the team. See, this one, it's on the left side here, but it's on the right side here. And then the other side has the total team points. Well, as long as we have both of them, we're good. Either way would have been a correct answer. And this is actually how our answer is going to look today, because our target is to write an equation with one variable in it. And that's what we have done. So we can move on to the next. So let's look at the next one. It says the number of pounds of insects a bat can eat is 2.5 times its own body weight. If a bat can eat 25 pounds of food, how much does the bat weigh? Well, okay, we are missing. What are we missing? Well, we're missing bat's weight. And we know that it eats 2.5 times its own body weight. So whatever its weight is, it actually eats more than that. It eats 2.5 times. There's a key word. If we go back to here, remember times means multiplication. Okay, so I can actually go back to our problem and I know that we're going to take 2.5 and we're going to multiply it by whatever that body weight is. And we don't know the body weight, so what do we use for in algebra if we don't know something? What do we use? Correct, we use a variable. And then the other piece of information we were given is that it eats 25 pounds of food. That's how much it actually ate this time. And so that is the total amount of food. So I'm going to put equals 25. Now, does anybody know another way that we can write this? 2.5 times W, which its weight, is equal to 25. Correct. The other way that we could write this is just putting the W right next to the 2.5. And this is actually the way that it's usually seen in an algebraic equation. Usually, because they're right next to each other, we know automatically that it's multiplication. And so this is a shortened way to write 2.5 times W. And notice this side would be equal to this side if we could figure out what that W is. But we don't need to solve it because that's not our target. We're just setting them up. Okay, so let's look at this one. It says a class of students are separated into 4 equal size teams which results in 6 students per team. How many students will there be? Okay, so a class of students, we don't know how many. They were separated into 4 equal size teams. Well, teams is on our grid and it is under division. And so I know right away, it's probably division that we're working with here. And the result, and I'm going to actually add that word to our equals because results, because it's giving us a clue that this is what they're going to equal. That's how many students are going to equal in that team. So I'm going to put an equal sign, 6. And so we have some class of student. We don't even know how many students there are. And so if we don't know how many students there are, I'm going to put S for students. And they are separated into 4 equal groups. Well, I'm going to use division because we are separating into 4 equal groups. And with that, I know that it's 4 groups, so I'm going to put a 4 underneath. And so I have some number of students divided into 4 equal groups. Every group is 6. And I have a number on both sides. I have a variable on one side and I have a division on the other, or I have an operation on the other side. So I know that I have created an equation. At this time, I'm going to actually pause because I'm going to continue our study of this in a second video. And so I am going to stop at this moment and then we are going to meet again in another video to go over additional problems. Thank you so much for joining me at Carlton's Math Corner.